Okay, so Jonathan Ruiz, your accounting coach, survival tips. So once again, I'm here. I'm back for another tutorial or lessons in financial accounting and reporting. But before I proceed, what I want you to do is, again, if you have families and friends that are looking for someone who want to be mentored, I think these video lessons will be a great help. Okay, so this is for financial accounting and reporting. So let's get started. Okay, so our main topic is bank reconciliation. Okay, so for this topic, I will discuss a few important things actually. So why bank reconciliation is necessary? I'm going to give you bank reconciling items, book reconciling items, and then I'm going to discuss as well uh, the proforma. So meaning, what are the things or formulas that we're gonna use, okay, to arrive at the correct balance or adjusted balance. So, but before I move on, once again, and again, if you want to be updated on these uh, lessons, you can easily subscribe. Click the subscribe button. Okay, so let's start. So, what is bank reconciliation? So, the topic is what is the bank reconciliation? Of course, I'm going to give a definition and then book and bank reconciling items and points of reconciliation. So, why bank reconciliation is necessary? So, very simple. Kasi after you put up your business, you make the registration and then you are ready to run it. What you need to do is go to the bank and open an account. Why? Why you need to put to open a bank account? Kasi may mga big companies na you are going to deal with. Once you grow, so kakailanganin mo ang bank account. Kasi ang possibility is you are going to have credit days from your supplier and you are going to give credit terms to your customers. So that means there is a possibility that they are going to issue checks. Okay, so that is only one reason why you need to have a bank account. And then from that, you are going to have your accounting records, which is your company's book. Correct? So that means kung ano yung naka-record sa company's book, that should also what should be recorded in the bank, no? Especially for the transactions of cash. So you need to make your reconciliation. Okay? So again, your company's book versus bank records should always be the same. So no error should be done on the book and no error should be done on the bank. But of course, that is not possible. So that's the reason why we need to make bank reconciliation. So again, so these are some samples of bank reconciliation. Why bank reconciliation is necessary. The bank may have charged the depositor's account with service charges, which the depositor may not know until a report is received from the bank. So there is a bank service charges that was already recorded by the bank, but the depositor did not receive any notification yet. Okay? Notes invoiced to the bank for collection have been collected by the bank. So there is a collection already received by the bank, but again, the notification is late and was not received by the depositor. So again, what is bank reconciliation? This is a statement which brings into agreement the cash balance per book and cash balance per bank, which is there should be an adjustment and there should be reconciliation, or we need to have it at correct or at the same level. So we will know how much really the cash that we have after clearing all the checks. It is usually actually prepared monthly because the bank provides the depositor with the bank statement at the end of every month. But again, in reality, this can be done uh, every day, especially now online banking is possible. So your statement and the book can be compared every day actually, especially if you have a big company. Okay, now let's move on. Now, what are the book reconciling items? Okay, so these are very important actually. So you really need to know what are the book reconciling items. So we have credit memos. Okay, so these refer to items not representing deposit, credit by the bank to the account of the depositor, but not yet recorded by the depositor as cash receipts. Again, so this is should be added. I'm going to give examples of credit memos on the following slides. So then debit memos refer to items not representing checks paid by the bank which are charged or debited by the bank to the account of depositor, but not yet recorded by the depositor as cash disbursements. So again, this is to be less in the book. Actually, there are also possibility of errors, and these errors can be committed, uh, of course, by the bank or by the book, by the bank or the company itself. So this can overstate or understate the book balance. So that depends of what type of errors. Okay. So now I will give you example of credit memos. Again, we have notes receivable collected by the bank in favor of the depositor and credited to the account of the depositor. Another example. So again, this is to be added. Another example, proceeds of bank loan credited to the account of the depositor. So you receive an approval from your bank loan and then you receive the cash. So then the possibility is it's already recorded in the bank, but you haven't recorded it. So you need to add it. Then matured time deposits transferred by the bank to the current account of depositor. Actually, there is also possibility of receiving interest. So that's the main reason why you would not know it unless you receive your bank statement or unless you receive a notification. Okay, now let's move on the example of debit memos. Okay, so this is also very important. Okay, so we have NSF check or non-sufficient fund checks. Okay, so this is to be less, meaning checks deposited but returned by the bank because of insufficiency of funds. There is no money on the account. Next, technically defective checks. This is to be less. Actually, these are checks deposited but returned because of technical defects. Some example are signature, absence of signature, or erasures. There is conflict in the amount of words and the amount of checks in the figures. Okay, then bank service charges. So this is for interest collection, checkbook, and penalties or the annual fees of the bank. So this bank service charge is to be less in the book. Okay. Now reduction of loan. If there is some deductions that happened. Okay. Now moving on. Let's move on the bank reconciling items. So what are the bank reconciling items? So we have deposit in transits, collections already recorded by the depositor as cash receipts, but not yet reflected on the bank statement. So this means probably the cash is on hand going to be delivered to the bank and to be deposited. So that is to be added. Now, we have outstanding checks. These are checks already recorded by the depositor as cash disbursements, but not yet reflected on the bank statement. So this is to be less. The possibility is there is a PDC check that you already issued to your supplier and you already left it in your book, but then the supplier did not clear the check yet. Okay, so this is to be less. Then again, like what I have said, there are possibility of errors committed that results to overstate or understate the book balance. Okay, sample of deposit in transits include collections already forwarded to the bank for deposit, but too late to appear in the bank statement. So this is what I have said. The possibility is already the driver came late to deposit in the bank. The bank is already closed. So the deposit happened the next day and it's already reflected in your books. Another is undeposited collections, or those that are still on the hands of the depositor. In effect, these are cash on hand awaiting for delivery to the bank for deposits. Okay, so there is also a possibility actually on the other hand, the check actually that is already received, no, but not yet deposited to your account. Okay, now let's move on. Outstanding checks. So this include actually, this is checks drawn and already given to payees but not presented for payment. So you already issued but not yet cleared. Then certified checks, where the bank has stamped on its face the word accepted or certified indicating sufficiency of funds. Again, there is something that you need to take note on the certified checks here. So certified checks should be deducted from the outstanding checks if included only, because they no longer outstanding for bank reconciliation purposes. Again, a certified check is actually, this is where the bank has a stamp on its face the word accepted or certified. So then what happened is the account of the depositor is immediately debited or charged to ensure the event of payment of the check. This should be deducted from the total outstanding checks if included. Okay, because they are no longer outstanding for bank reconciliation purposes. So tatandaan mo yan kasi napapasama yan sa mga problems. Now, forms of bank reconciliation. So we have adjusted balance method, book to bank method, and bank to book method. So I'm going to give you a proforma. Okay, so let's move on to adjusted balance method. So if you are going to use the book, we have book balance beginning. So add all credit memos. Then we have the total, less the debit memos. Then you have the adjusted book balance. Again, you need to go back with the previous slides. Okay, so you can check what is credit memos and debit memos, what is to be added, what is to be less in the book. Now, for the bank, again, bank balance, we have to add the deposit in transit. You get the total, you less the outstanding checks, and then you have the adjusted bank balance. Now, there is something important here. Always remember, adjusted book balance and bank balance should always be equal. Okay, so that is very important. Whatever method you use in the problem, they should balance. Now, book to bank method. Okay, so we have the book balance. Add credit memos, add outstanding checks, then you get the total, then less debit memos, less deposit in transit, and you get the bank balance. So when the reconciliation starts with the book balance and ends with the bank balance, the usual book reconciling items are treated in the same manner they are treated in the adjusted balance method. That credit memos are added and debit memos are deducted. However, so this is to be remembered, with respect to the bank reconciling items, it is adjusted. Okay, the bank reconciling items is treated is reverse. So they are reverse. Okay, since deposit in transit is added to the bank balance, it is now deducted from the book balance. Since the outstanding checks is deducted from the bank balance, it is now added to the book balance. Okay? See, notice that. So again, now we will move to bank to book method. So another treatment. Okay? So you have the bank balance. Then add the deposit in transit, add the debit memos, then you have the total, less the outstanding checks, and then less the credit memos. Now you have the book balance. Again, when the reconciliation starts with the bank balance and end with the book balance, the usual bank reconciling items treated in the same manner as they are treated in the adjusted balance method. That is, deposit in transit is added and outstanding check is deducted. However, with respect to the book reconciling items, the treatment is simply reversed. Thus, the credit memos are added to the book balance. They are now deducted from the bank balance. And since debit memos are deducted from the book balance, they are now added to the bank balance. Okay. So again, if you don't understand the explanation, you can play this recording again and again or pause it, read your book. So just to understand my presentation. Or if you don't really understand, you can leave a comment. If you want it in Tagalog, then I will do it for you. So a recap, I define what is bank reconciliation, why bank reconciliation is necessary. I showed and I gave examples of book and bank reconciling items and forms of bank reconciliation. So again, thank you so much for staying with me until the end. Again, so the next topic will be accounts receivable. So I hope you are learning from me, and I really want to thank you. If you want to join me on my daily multiple choice questions, just go to my FB page, which is the CPA Dreams. And if you haven't subscribed in this YouTube channel, please do so. Thank you so much. Mabuhay po kayo and hope to see you soon.